The Dick Show.
This is one of those years, too, where the Bears might actually show up. Justin Fields, I'm telling you, man.
We got to pause for station identification.
America!
Fuck yeah. Oh, imagine the possibilities.
I've been riding Caleb Williams' dick since he was in high school.
This is a true story.
All right, we're back, and it's
That made me think of Wayne's World for a second there.
What the-
And 5, 4.
the countdown.
Remember they're bobbing their head? Like-
All right, we're gonna Kelly and I are gonna do something Chris can't do. All right, big subject, and we're gonna have to tackle this one with some strategery, because a lot of shit happened this weekend.
I want to ask one question.
Yeah.
And I just noticed it this year, and it bothers me. What's with the number 0 jerseys?
You don't like it?
I don't fucking like it at all.
Why?
No.
Doesn't bother me any.
Like, oh, I'm number 0. You've never had 0 in 70 years of NFL. Is it the only
No, there's
sports team, like leagues, that allow 0 now?
Basketball
Like, when did that
has
change?
0.
Basketball has
yeah,
0.
Gilbert Arenas was 0 for a
I'm
long
pretty sure
time. He called
baseball-
himself Agent 0, as a matter of
Pretty
fact.
sure baseball allows it.
I'm not
think.
sure. Actually, that's a good question. I'm trying to think if
Hockey doesn't allow
Hockey
it.
does not.
if 0 has been like retired in baseball.
But I will say, my mentality towards 0 is not something that bothers me.
14 players in the MLB have worn 0.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's not something that bothers me, and maybe only because historically the NFL has required certain position players to wear certain number of groups, which they did away with about 2 to 3 years ago.
That drives me more crazy. than
that
wearing
bothered
0.
me. But
Exactly.
now that I have accepted that change, throwing 0 in the mix doesn't bother me.
All offensive linemen have to be in the
60s or
70s.
70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with defensive.
And see,
defensive
like,
is 50 and 60s or something
And
like
99 with J.J.
And
Watt.
and see, I
that.
don't
Tight ends can
understand.
use 90s.
I don't understand why they have the
And
designation.
80s
I
and
never
80s.
understood that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, I think you should be able
Quarterbacks
to
have
wear
to be 1 through 20, or
whatever
1 through
number,
19, rather.
you know?
Yeah, it used to always have ranges like that for certain position sets, and I was used to that, so it was very easy to quickly identify when you see a holding penalty. You quickly could pick. You didn't even have to think about the first number, just the second number. You knew it was going to be a 78 or a 75 or whatever. That change a few years ago was not easy for me.
Why?
But just because I'm used to knowing for sure when I look at a line on the field, I can tell if somebody's checked as eligible or not based on the number on their jersey. You know what
However,
I mean?
now they have to do the designation for if somebody comes out that's not eligible, they have to
Right.
say that person's eligible.
But that's
part of the jersey number change though too, right?
Right. So I mean, well, even then, you depending on where you lined up on the line, you still had to tell a referee that I'm eligible.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's
I'm
true.
not covering.
That's
the
true.
Now, do you just tell the referee, and he goes, "Hey guys, this guy checked in"?
Yeah,
long-
basically you have to signal to the referee that I'm coming in as an eligible receiver.
And as long as you
then they
and
have
he
to
acknowledges
identify it.
then it's up to the defense to
To
see that
understand.
and understand it because of it changes where you can line up on the line, whether you can cover the guards or not. So anyway, but that change a few years ago was tougher for me than just adding 0 now, and I think it's only because I already had to go through the other change. So anyway,
That's funny. I never really thought of it that deeply
Never bothered.
into it. It never
Never.
bothered me either
Yeah.
way. I mean, I thought it was before. I guess thinking about it now, I always thought it was silly that you could only wear a certain number if you were
in a
of a
certain
certain
group.
position. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if I was a wide receiver, I can't be wearing fucking 72. You
Right.
know what I mean?
But like hockey is another great example. I would say that 90% of goalies wear a number that's either between 30 and 35 or 1 to 9.
Right.
Right. Most goalies are either a single digit number or they're a low 30s number.
What was your sports number when you played sports?
Depends on the sport.
Yep. Okay, so I was the same way. Baseball, I was 14. Hockey, I was 28. Football, I was 28.
Baseball, I was 2. Hockey, I played a lot of goalie, and I was 33 in that case. And then in football, I was 19.
Okay. How about you?
Because I played both offense and defense. I did.
He plays for both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He went both ways.
I played receiver. I played
Tight end and receiver.
corner.
He did it all.
I did it all. No.
He deep penetrated the
But
holes. He busted the gap.
Number 12.
He was
Number
a gap
12 is my
buster.
number.
But to be fair,
Number 12 in the playbook, number 1 in your hearts.
Aww.
That was me.
Yeah, listen to that.
That was me.
Old TB12, huh?
Falco.
I don't remember as a kid, what number I wore in Little League and shit like that. That was fucking 40 years
when
ago.
when you're in like little league, you get a different number every year because they print the jerseys. Small jerseys go 1 through 5.
But I remember
Slow
quite a few of my
pitch,
teams was like you
hockey,
picked your
my
number.
numbers-
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
number's
So
still
like
12.
by the time I was in like 6th or 7th grade,
Yeah.
every time after that was just pick the number. I just stayed the same number. 'Cause
I
I was
actually-
usually on a team that was like the same.
I think I actually wore 22 in football in
Really?
Pop Warner. I think I wore 22.
That's one of my lucky numbers, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my Powerball numbers.
Oh, there you go. No, I think I actually used
That's
I,
my
that's what I
Powerball
used in
number,
Pop Warner.
actually.
But no, in those younger years of baseball, you don't get to pick. It's just based on jersey size. Same with
It
basketball.
must not have been that good.
But when you get into the older years, the majors they call Little League majors, that's when you're 13, 14, you get to pick numbers then. And then at least I did back then. And then hockey, we got to pick our numbers. So, anyway. All right. So, let's get to the football, the NFL.
There you go.
It was a big week. So Chris and I ended up tied this week with 12-4 records, and that meant that Chris won the week in the Monday night game because
I picked the under.
Yeah, he picked a lower tiebreaker score than I did, so he was only off by 12. I was off by 17. That was a low scoring game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
it was
low
very
scoring.
boring.
It was horribly boring. And
What are we saying?
Giants suck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
My
we're saying.
fucking Giants suck. God damn it.
And
My
then Kelly
fucking
was only
Giants
one
suck.
game behind us at 11-5. So I mean, he's right there in the hunt with us this week, and just like every week. So
Dude, breaking news. Daniel Jones just got sacked again.
it's still happening.
That was a delayed reaction sack.
I know, right?
So for the
That's
season,
what was happening.
He's
he
like
made the
he's like
reads and
walking
he's still,
from the
yeah.
bathroom to his bed, and all of a sudden, boom, he's down.
Dude, he's
And
fucking.
his wife is like, "What happened?" He's like, "I must have got sacked again."
He was on the fucking team plane trying to get up to go to the bathroom. Just fucking another one. Another one.
A phantom sack.
so that gave me the opportunity to extend the lead on the season. I'm at 44-20. Kelly is sitting at 39-25, and Chris at 37-27.
Yep,
So
that's all right. Those early man.
yeah, it's
on
hard
these
to
you
hard to
pick'ems,
figure out these
you
teams
pick'ems
early in the
early
year.
season is
Yeah.
always like a weird thing. You know what I mean?
14 more weeks.
Yep.
So let me do this. I want to do this before we jump into this week and whatnot. I want to really quickly. Kelly sent us some notes.
Yep.
Let's revisit our conference picks.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
I want to see.
I sent you guys a picture.
Yeah, I want to see based on what we all thought our conference winners would be in the first episode, which we all made our picks on. I want to see how we stand. So I would like to start with the AFC East.
Well, we all had the Bills.
We all had the Bills, and they are sitting at 3-1. However, the Dolphins are also sitting at 3-1. So that is a dogfight.
Yeah.
We're 4 games into a 17-game season.
I think we're only really surprised at the Dolphins, but this was a head-to-head matchup this week, so
Yeah, and also
they are leading the division. They just trounced them.
I also will say that I don't think any of us are really surprised by the Dolphins. I believe when we talked about it, we talked about them being the close number 2. Like, it would be a battle between those two teams. I think we all dismiss the Patriots and the Jets.
I'll tell you this much. Not only saying the Dolphins are kind of what we expected, but they are also a surprise to me.
They're exceeding what we expected.
They are a surprise to me. Not only putting up 70 points in a game, but you look at like the speed that they have on the field. They've got speed everywhere. You know what I mean? And now this is all predicated on Tua. You know, if Tua goes down, a lot of that goes away. If Mostert, like they're gonna have a 3-headed monster in the backfield. You know,
this team is going to be dangerous at postseason time.
If they can stay healthy.
Yes, as long as Tua doesn't get a concussion.
And not just Tua, but Mostert has
newsflash.
problems.
He still doesn't have one.
He still doesn't have one this week.
Dude, hey, and guess what?
He's almost perfect.
Baker's fucking back.
He's redeemed, motherfuckers.
He's back. He's gone. He's back.
All right, so looking at the points for and points against, we're talking about the Dolphins. I think they're leading the league in points for.
I believe that to be correct.
And they're also leading the league in points against. They have 119 points against them.
Yeah, and a lot of that
Most points
changed in the last. Yeah, yes. I mean, the
Bills
70,
the Bills put it on them, though.
Yeah, I was going to say the 70-20 got them way up on the points for. They gave up the points against to the Bills.
So if you scroll down there, I don't think, Steelers that are
Well,
giving up 100.
Actually, think about that, though, just real quick on that. If you take the 70 points away and you take the 20 points away from that one game, the Dolphins actually have a negative on their points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
70, 80.
Their net points are 31, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the point being, they have
minus
had
19 across the other games. Other than that,
they've had
70-20 blowout.
Yeah, they've had a couple blowout games, and they've had a couple squeak
If you
out.
take away that 20, that's 99. If you take away that 70,
That's 80.
that's 80. So, I mean, if you take away that one game, they're actually 19 points below on the differential, which is
Right.
crazy to
Right.
think. You know what I mean? Again, though, they have looked great in all their games besides the Bills game,
Right.
which the Bills racked up some points on them.
Right.
So yeah, just scroll down to the other divisions and see if anybody's even close to those 100
The points for
points
number?
for and against.
Points against the Cowboys.
Yeah, the only other
The Broncos,
the only-
150 against.
the only other AFC teams over 100 are the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos. Which the Broncos,
And that's
with
crazy
their
that
horrible record.
The
being
Broncos
that
have scored
high.
100 points, but they've also given up. Their differential's negative 50.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not as bad as the Giants, though, so let's just fucking shut the fuck up for a
Yeah.
second, because goddamn Giants suck. And this just in, Daniel Jones just got sacked again.
But the points,
Motherfuckers.
but the points for on the NFC side.
I quit.
The Eagles and the Cowboys. The NFC East is strong in that department. I mean, the Lions even in the North sit at 106.
Hey, don't forget about them Bears.
Them Bears.
The Bears sitting at 75-4 and 137 against. Anyway, we'll leave that alone.
Their periods attract
the
bears.
Niners-
Differential is still not as bad as the Giants.
The Niners differential looks amazing. 67 to the good at 120.
Dude, how about Christian
points.
McCaffrey, man?
Hey,
Yeah.
let's stay on point here.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, let's finish up our predictions. All right, so AFC North next.
We all had Cincinnati.
We all took Cincinnati, and they sit dead last. In
Dead
that
last.
division. They're 1-3, and the Ravens are 3-1.
Hey, I tell you what, I think I'm
And they play the Cardinals this week, so they have a good chance to go to 2-3.
But will they? Because think about it, like the Cardinals have been playing good football,
And
honestly,
people
overall.
tend to look past them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
And Burrow's injury,
Yeah.
obviously, that's been worse than we thought.
It has been, but he looked okay a couple weeks ago.
It's
Or,
just
sorry, was
Yeah.
it this week? The
No,
game we
no.
watched. Was
No,
that
no,
the
no.
Thursday night game?
Nope.
yeah, he didn't look good this last week. I don't think. He's just been having some issues. I mean this can touch, I think, a little bit with when we talked about preseason stuff. These guys, they usually don't get a lot of reps, and he's coming off this
Right.
injury. Now he's trying to force it, and especially coming in, you're 1-3. that's a quarter of the season, right? So now you're looking at a spot. If he keeps pressing it, what if something happens, or what if he's not playing
Right.
with 100? I mean, obviously he's not 100%, but what if it's worse than what he's advertised? You know what I mean? And what if he gets hurt again? This is a team that they went to a Super Bowl. They were what? One possession away from going to back to back, and they almost won the Super Bowl as well in the last 2 seasons. So they're looking at a situation, go 1-3 in that tough division the way it's built this year.
Yeah,
they may not even make the playoffs.
So the Ravens leading that division, though, I don't think is any major surprise to any of us. We
knew they were going to be
I think
close.
we all knew they were going to be in the fight.
The surprise for me in that is the Browns being 2-2.
Yeah, being 500.
Actually, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the Steelers are 2-2 with their differential the way it is.
Yeah.
-38. And not only that, like Kenny Pickett, now he's hurt.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But they hadn't looked good. They won the 2 wins that they had. Yeah. The 2 wins that they had were because of defensive touchdowns late in the game.
The Browns game.
Yep.
And
so that's actually this year. That's the biggest surprise to me.
So look for that to get sloppy. It's going to get away from that.
Yep.
Now here's the toughest division in the whole fucking league, the AFC South. I know that I picked the Jaguars to win I believe Kelly did too, and I believe Chris picked the Colts.
No, Titans.
Oh, the Titans.
Yep.
Okay, but at the end of the day,
we're all in a tie for first place.
Yeah, it's literally 4 teams.
None of us are wrong right now. How weird is that?
It's 4 teams that are 2-2 right now. That is wild. And look at the point differential.
Yeah, the differential.
-2,
all
-2, 17, +2.
They're all like nothing.
All suck.
Yeah, everything under 20, and 3 of them being negative, or 2 of them being negatives.
Yeah. But they all suck.
Yeah, it hasn't been good football there.
So that is the NFC East 3 years ago.
How about that too?
Remember?
The Colts.
Yeah, but that NFC East was like they were like 1-3. All
of them were.
But I mean, this is 500 football. This is what
fair.
the NFL wants.
But the Colts are 2-0 on the road, 0-2 at home, and then flip that, the Titans are 2-0 at home, 0-2 on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's
and the Titans still haven't played a division game. So
which is weird. Being 4 weeks into the season. Yep. All right, so the AFC West, there's absolutely no surprise here who's on top.
Kansas City.
Yeah, which we all picked, I believe.
Yep.
That to be correct. We all did say that we thought that the Chargers would be formidable, but
I thought the Raiders were going to do better.
Yeah, well, but
Jimmy G's been out.
I was going to say injuries.
Garoppolo being hurt, But also,
surprise, he's hurt.
The Chargers, though, we all thought would be somewhat dangerous. They also haven't really looked dangerous at all.
They've just given up a lot of points.
Yeah, they've won 2 games.
They've given up a lot of points, but they got a high offense team.
Yeah.
But do they? Offense. I mean, look at their differential. Only 6 points.
That's because of the defense.
I know.
But look, when San Diego's been good, it's usually been that. They've got an offense that can put points.
We've seen Justin Herbert struggle in a couple of these games in a way that we didn't think we would. I thought they would have been a 3-1 team right now, not a 2-2 team.
I mean, you look at to try to not get into it too much, but you look at points or fantasy-wise, Herbert has been the man this year.
Yeah,
he has been.
So,
all right,
but I agree. There's a lot of other factors.
So if we jump to the NFC East.
So one thing I want to point out, there is 2 teams left that are undefeated, the Eagles and the 49ers. And there's 2 teams without a win.
Who are winless.
And they're all in the NFC. So that's the Bears and the Panthers.
I got to tell you, one of the funniest short videos that I saw this week on the internet before Sunday rolled around was Cartman running around yelling cripple fight, and it was showing that the 4 0-3 teams were going to play each other on the screen, and it's just Cartman running around cripple fight. I'm like, yeah, well, that's 2 of them finally get to win.
The battles of the defeats.
So the NFC East.
Yeah, the Eagles. I think we all picked.
Yep.
Didn't we?
No, I got the Giants.
Oh, he got the
I
Giants.
don't remember picking the Giants.
That was him picking with his head.
I was going to say, I'm also not surprised I did. But with that, to be fair,
he was picking with his dick because he's been riding the Giants.
Yep. To be fair, though, the Giants did make the playoffs last year. I thought I mean, I have no excuses for them right now. They fucking suck. I mean,
Terribly.
they just fucking suck.
Terribly.
Yeah, Cowboys with the best defense.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Look
what
at
that
the
defense has
Cowboys'
been
net
doing.
points, 83 to the positive. That is mind blowing.
I mean, they're 4 games in. They've given up. They're averaging
They've
10
given
point.
up 41 points
Yeah,
in 4
but
games.
28 of those was against the Cardinals. So they've only given up 13 points
in
three
three
other
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
That defense is stellar,
Unbelievable.
stellar,
Unbelievable.
And the offense is not even outperforming itself. The defense is scoring points.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. I've been pleasantly surprised. I fucking want to gag just saying that shit.
At the Cowboys.
Fucking Dak Prescott. Ah. You know what I mean? Like that's all I got.
Yeah. All
Let's
right.
fucking carry on.
Let's
okay.
let's move on. NFC North. I know I picked the Lions to win this one. Kelly, who did you take?
Minnesota.
You took Minnesota. Chris,
Don't you know?
what did you say on this
The
one?
Bears. No, I'm fucking around.
No,
I
he took Minnesota.
Yeah, I
He
took Minnesota.
but he
did say
he claimed the Bears.
I
were
did
gonna
say,
sneak up on
don't
Well,
be
you heard-
surprised.
you heard
Watch
that
out
in the
for-
intro,
watch,
right?
Watch out for them Bears.
Watch out for the Bears.
I texted Dustin the other day. I'm like, hey, episode 1, 47 minutes left in it. You got to put that in the in the intro.
Chris
Yeah.
said, watch out for Justin Fields.
You see me? I started laughing though. That was great. I did like that. That was good shit. Hey, tell you what though,
We got to
Justin-
mix it up every week, and that was a good.
Yeah, that was a good.
that was,
a
time,
good one.
perfectly timed.
I hope
because
I can
yeah.
say a fair share of really funny shit and really stupid shit that turns out funny. You know what I mean?
But we couldn't let that go one more week just in case. We
No.
had to. It
Yeah.
has to be there while they're 0-4.
Oh, and
now if they're 0-5 next week, we're leaving it in.
Yeah.
dude, hey, just for comedy's sake, I'm riding the fucking Chicago Bears dick this year. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm gonna have to let my Chicago witness protection neighbors know that.
So I guess the surprise there is Minnesota's 1-3.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought they'd be better. I thought I would have switched their record with the Packers at 4 weeks in. I would have thought the Packers 1-3 and Minnesota being 2-2,
I would have and to
and
your
maybe
point,
even 3-1.
not only switching the records, but I would have switched what Jordan Love has been doing with Kirk Cousins. If you're just asking me overall, but
Yeah, this is
Kurt
almost
hasn't-
like Kirk Cousins might. This might be.
I
it
mean,
for
this
him.
might be it.
This might
and
be it.
Up to this point, he had been consistent, you know, but
Yeah.
it's not a year. Not a year.
All right, let's go to the NFC South real quick.
Well, we all had the Saints.
Yeah, and that is not panning out.
Well, it's a one-game thing, but hey,
It
guess
is.
what? You know why? It's because fucking Baker's back.
He's redeemed.
He's
Well, he was
fucking
back, then he
back.
was back, then he wasn't,
Then he
and
wasn't.
then he was.
But he
again.
is right now,
But
and
he's
that's
back
all
right
that.
now.
I mean,
Yeah.
right now he is back.
Yeah.
The
But-
Falcons.
But look at this division. You have 3 teams with negative point differentials, and the Bucks being the only one with a positive, albeit only 16 points.
Well, look at that. The Buccaneers. All 4 of their games have been in conference.
Yes,
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's actually pretty crazy. The Panthers. All
but
4
only
of
one
their
of them
games.
a division game.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was looking. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. But yeah. Anyways,
Yeah. All right.
interesting. Yep.
So
Interesting.
let's go to the NFC West.
No surprise.
No surprise here. I know I took the Niners,
That's what I took.
and you took.
I
the
took
Seahawks.
Seattle. Yep,
Yeah.
I took Seattle.
But I mean, 3
Not a
and
bad.
1.
Yeah, no.
3 and
4-0,
1.
3-1. Yeah, that's.
No, they're playing better. And actually, honestly, the Rams haven't been playing horrible. They've got a pretty good offense this year. They're
Yeah.
figuring some stuff out. You know what I mean? So, I was speaking of this, like to revisit this after this first 4 weeks. In my opinion, kind of watching the NFC West, I think as a whole, the NFC West might be a little bit better than everybody else thought they'd be as a whole. Even the Cardinals at 1-3, they haven't been playing horrible football. You know
I
what
would
mean?
agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, their net points is probably overall better than most divisions, even though the Cardinals are 14 in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
They're 14 in the hole, but only because of one bad game, really.
But people can't be saying that the Cardinals are a dumpster fire.
No,
you know
they're
what I
not.
mean?
No,
Like you look at the Bears situation, you look at the Panthers, you look at some of these other
Bears
teams.
are a dumpster fire.
Oh, for sure,
and
right?
we did gloss. We didn't talk about that. The Panthers are the other 0-4 team.
Yeah.
And they look terrible.
Yeah.
Just like the Bears do. The only difference is they're only half in debt the number of points the Bears are, but they're still negative 35. The Bears are negative 62.
Right.
So getting back to the Cardinals, I just made a few notes from the game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So they had 7 possessions. San Francisco had 8. The time, total time of possession, Arizona had the edge on that.
Did they?
30 minutes and 46 seconds versus 29 minutes and 14 seconds for time of possession. Arizona had 1 turnover on downs, 3 punts, and 4 scoring drives. They had 1 sack against. San Francisco had 8 possessions. Now, and this is where we got killed. 5 touchdowns. San Francisco had 1 punt only, and they had the 2 possessions at the end of each half. So,
dude, and
there
thing,
were some like long drives by both teams.
One more thing to that.
No, they were in
too.
that game.
I had on that parlay bet that I made for that Cardinals game, coming down to that last possession. If they wouldn't have scored that touchdown, I could have won that parlay.
How much was that?
I think it was a $25 parlay that would have won me like
200 and something.
yeah, 288, something like that.
Yeah, I remember you
And
sending a screenshot.
If they wouldn't have scored that last touchdown, they were under on the points, and Josh Dobbs had the day that we needed him to have. You know. What
I mean, they didn't turn over the ball other than on downs, and you got to try. You know, I think that was later in the game.
Yeah.
They're trying to press it. 3 punts. If you're playing an NFL game and you're only punting 3 times in a game, that's pretty fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing that catches my attention with the Cardinals is if you look at touchdowns, they have 8 of them on the season. They've given up 12 to their opponents. For only winning 1 game so far, that's not bad.
Exactly.
That means you're in every game
that's what I'm
by
saying.
about
They're
a touchdown.
playing solid football.
Yeah,
you know what I
you're
mean?
within a touchdown in almost every game.
And even before, like the first week, I was saying like this team is going to be pleasantly surprising in a way. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to win a lot of games,
Even though we were afraid they would tank,
but
they're
there's going to
clearly
be
not doing
there's
that.
good progress being made, and you can see it. And the thing that's going to be surprising, or not surprising, interesting, is with the way Dobbs is playing, and then when Kyler comes back and is healthy.
Do we even want that?
What, do we want Kyler to come back this year?
Yeah. They're not taking him off the pup list
He's
yet,
staying on
Yeah.
still. So I'm asking.
which is not a bad thing because they want more players on the roster. Obviously, he's on the sideline, and it doesn't.
But if Josh
count
Dobbs
against-
is hanging in games the way he
And
is,
this
do
is where
we
it becomes
even,
interesting.
But you don't
Yeah,
want to
do we-
rush a guy back from ACL.
No,
you don't.
But
And I'm not even saying about not necessarily talking about rushing him back.
I'm
just
saying, do we want him back at all, or are we trying
because-
to healthy him up to trade him?
Well, yeah, because what Dobbs has done, if Dobbs puts out a whole season of those numbers, you can prove, like, for a justifiable reason to trade him, which is unfortunate because he didn't have a chance to kind of defend himself this year by not playing.
Mm-hmm.
You have a justifiable reason to say, like,
That's what I'm getting
we
at.
can trade this guy and we can maybe do all right without him. Would I do that? No, I wouldn't do that
Absolutely not.
necessarily because I still think a healthy Kyler Murray, if he's playing his best football, is way better than what Dobbs is. I mean, that guy,
Absolutely.
you know, he's been to the playoffs before.
Right.
You know, I mean,
He's taken a 3-13 team and given them 11 wins.
exactly. So it's a tough thing, though, man. And I with the
You get what
detractors or
my
with the
question
haters.
was, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think with the haters, it's easily going to be able to say like, look what we did without him, and look how consistent we kind of played in this position. If Dobbs puts up, if he plays the way he's playing right now, like that's solid quarterback work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not saying that's what you want. That's going to be better than Kyler because I love Kyler, man. I hope Kyler does phenomenal whenever he gets a chance. But I also hope that they don't just make that decision.
I'm also not 100% sold on him, to be honest with you.
On Kyler?
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that that he's had flashes in the pan of being amazing from time to time, but he's never given me the confidence that he can just do it all, win it all.
So
Right.
while you're there, click on league up at the top and sort them by win-loss. The next thing we got to talk about is, are we getting Caleb out of USC if we keep winning?
Nope.
Well,
Like, who's on the bottom of the list?
The Bears and the
Bears.
Panthers.
There's like 8 teams.
They
ahead
got
of
Justin
us.
Fields. Are they going to take him? Probably. They're
Yeah.
probably going to take another first-round quarterback.
And so the
wreck
interesting
him.
thing is Caleb still has the option to stay another year, and there was talk
Yeah.
about that. If the Cardinals were to be the worst team, would he want to play here? Would you rather play here, or would you? I mean, and I'm not saying right now. Obviously, it didn't matter, so you could put any city in there. Would you rather play anywhere else, or would you rather play in Chicago?
Yeah, so what
Right.
we're saying is, if his choices are Arizona or Chicago, what's the lesser of two evils? Because if you wait another year, it might still be Chicago or somebody worse.
Well, and just even to broaden that from Arizona versus Chicago, I'm going to say any like Carolina, any of these other one-win. What if it's the Patriots?
Yeah, no. Like,
You know, I
start
mean-
at the top at 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Where the Cardinals are there. Then
Cardinals-
you got. Do we need a quarterback? No, we got Murray.
Not necessarily.
Bengals.
The Bengals don't.
They don't need one.
The
Broncos
Broncos
don't need one.
The
The
Broncos,
Broncos
paid Russell
will
Wilson
take-
so much
if
money.
he shits the bed another year,
But they're not-
He's done.
I don't
And
think
they'll
they'll.
take
I
it.
don't think they'll
think
do
so.
anything though because
They-
they gave up so much
There's
to the
too much money
to the
in there.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
They gave up so much draft stock, and not only that, they paid him so much money. I don't think they'll concede that quickly.
And the Raiders are not going to give up on Jimmy G that quick. The first team I see on this list that may
Vikings.
be ready is the Vikings,
And if
because of the way Kirk
and
Cousins is
this goes
playing
back
right
to
now.
what we just said.
Yep.
Is this the end of Kirk Cousins? Because
Right.
if the Vikings end up being at the end of the season in this situation,
And even if I'm the next team on the list being the Patriots, even if I'm Caleb Williams, I'm questioning how much longer is Bill Belichick there,
Yeah.
and what has he done without Tom Brady?
I would play there in a heartbeat.
Then
I
you
don't
got the
know.
Giants.
I don't
Are they
know.
done with?
I don't know.
Dan
that.
Please,
Dimes?
please be done with him. I don't know why we paid him that much money in the first place. I would have never paid
Daniel
the guy.
Jones?
Yeah. Who?
Yeah.
So who else is on the list that needs a quarterback? The
The
Jets.
Bears.
The Jets need one.
But Rodgers said he's coming back.
No, he's going to come back for the Vikings. That's what Brett Favre did.
Favre.
Yeah, he's
Favor.
following the
He's
footsteps.
dude.
Yep.
It's a fucking
direct path,
yeah,
same path.
yeah. So really, the Panthers need it more than anybody because they're still paying Cam Newton for like 3 years.
Yeah,
Didn't
they
even
got
have him.
Bryce Young.
He's got
Bryce Young.
Oh man!
yeah, and they did draft Bryce Young,
All right, so let's dive
but
into
the Bears also drafted Justin Fields. That's not worked out for them either.
All right, so let's dive into the week. Let's talk about what happened this week. Should we? Shall
Yeah,
we?
yeah. Let's do it. Thursday night game.
All right.
Detroit beating Green Bay 34-20, and I don't think that was a surprise, and I don't think it was a memorable game. from
Not
what
really. I mean-
I remember.
I mean, it was a decent game. It was just Detroit doing what Detroit's capable of doing. They missed an opportunity to do that one time this season, and they're at 3-1 because of it. They're a good team. They are. We all knew they were going to be a good team this year.
Yep. Next up on the list, the London game, Jacksonville and Atlanta, and I don't know why I took Atlanta.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
I was
mean-
pretty high on Jacksonville, and I'm like, it's almost like a home game for them because the Shad Khan
Yeah,
is
Yep.
a London guy.
Yeah, and you know, you look at the travel and you go, well, that's not really a big difference going from Jacksonville versus Atlanta to London. They both have the same travel schedule, basically, maybe a 30-minute different flight, flight time. So that's not an effect, not something to worry about. I picked Jacksonville because at the start of the year, I thought they were going to be the best in their division.
I thought
And
Atlanta
they are
coming in
right
2-1.
now.
2-1. That's a game where both teams. I thought Trevor Lawrence may not have the game this week because I thought he had gotten a little roughed up in week 3.
That shoulder, yeah.
Yeah,
a
so I
little bit
thought maybe
rattled.
that might be affecting him a little bit. And same thing, Atlanta was 2-1.
But he looked fine.
Yeah, he looked great.
Pittsburgh losing to Houston.
I think that's a surprise.
That shocked everybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
And not only losing, but losing big and bad. That was crazy.
who's that kid, the quarterback for Houston?
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, Stroud. He's been putting up some numbers this year. He's not playing bad football.
Yep.
Which is kind of a surprise.
Then another close game.
Kenny Pickett goes down, though, in that game for Pittsburgh. That's not good.
No, and
Yeah.
Trubisky came
Pittsburgh's already having enough trouble offensively. So
Yeah, well, yeah, Pickett by himself was having a hard time. Rams, Colts.
in. Colts. I don't
Yeah.
know why I picked Indy on this game.
Richardson,
Maybe.
yeah. He's playing good football, man. And who the fuck? So that was a question I was going to have
I
for
looked
you.
at it as the Rams were owed some wins.
I was going to ask
They've
you
had a
this,
rough
guys.
start.
Who the fuck is Anthony Richardson? Who the fuck is this guy? Like, he's been very good this year. He's playing good football for him, but
Well, he missed the second game with a concussion.
right. But when he has played, I mean, he's played some pretty good football, and Indy's not done too bad with him as a quarterback. Like, no hype really, no fanfare behind him. It's not like you really heard his name called out that much, or
No.
you know what I mean. And he's playing some good football.
An interesting point here is the Rams had a 23-0 lead.
And then gave a lot of it away.
And
Well,
then they
yeah,
came
they
back
lost.
and tied it.
Yeah,
and
I don't. Did they give them all 23 unanswered? They
Yep.
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they won it in overtime.
Yeah, I missed a good part of that game, unfortunately, because the Talladega race was hard to turn away from, so I was trying to switch back and forth. And,
Shake and bake.
yeah. I need 2 TVs in my living room.
Yep.
That's if it's
Pitcher and pitcher.
well, no, I just need one on NASCAR and one on Red Zone.
Well,
so
why
I can
stop at
see
2?
both. Well,
You might as well
that's-
get 4.
I
Right?
know guys that during like March Madness have like 12 set up in their house, and I'm like, I couldn't even.
Yeah, it's too much.
Well, there's not even that many games happening at once. Isn't there only 4 games at a time normally happening during the
No.
day?
No, not
No.
on March Madness. No,
Because
they have like
Not in the round
45
of
channels
64.
showing games.
well, like in the round, even in the round of 64.
No,
there's
they
like-
have.
There's 4, and they start in every 2-hour increments, and
No, sir, I
Every-
believe you're wrong.
every 4 that start at the same time is 8 teams. So if you do that
Nope.
4 times a day,
Nope.
that's a lot.
Why are we talking about basketball?
Carry
Anyway,
the 5.
I'm just saying. I think it's only 4 at a time.
11-teen.
All right, the
Anyway.
next game. Minnesota beating up on Carolina.
Predictable.
Carolina had a 10-0 lead. So they had 13 points in that game, and their only touchdown was a defensive interception and touchdown. So their offense is doing
Nothing.
squadoosh.
Absolutely nothing. Meanwhile,
Bryce Young, 204. That was his yards. 25 for 32. 0 TDs and 0 interceptions. So they're just not doing shit with them.
and then Baker Mayfield's back.
He's fucking back.
Redeemed, motherfucker.
26-9 Tampa over New Orleans. New Orleans struggled in that game. They could not get anything going.
And an interesting note, Derek Carr did start that game.
Did he play the whole game?
No,
I didn't think so.
no. When I think at garbage time they pulled him.
Did they let Taysom Hill run it
Yep.
mostly, or did they? Okay.
No, Derek Carr, I think he had 20-some pass attempts.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So he was in there for a while.
Yep.
All right. And then you have Philly beating Washington.
That game
was a
was
closer game than it should have been.
that was in overtime.
Yeah, that was a way closer game than it should have been.
Hey, Washington, same thing. Sam Howell, that kid's been playing some good football.
Yeah, it's almost like the Cardinals. Washington is hanging in games that they should not be
Yeah,
Hanging around,
Yeah.
hanging around.
They are. They're
The kid's
doing
got alligator blood. What's that from?
it. Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
Rounders.
You're sound
Oh,
Canadian.
shit.
John Malkovich, Teddy
Pay
KGB.
him. Pay that man
His
his
money.
Pay
All right,
him.
so
He beat me straight up.
Kelly and I both
like
thought
the worst fucking accent ever to pay him.
Kelly and I both thought Miami would best Buffalo on this one, but
Boy, were we fucking
yeah,
wrong.
Chris got us with this one, 48-20.
So in that game, in the second quarter, they were tied at 14 apiece.
Uh-huh.
And then
Close to halftime, yeah.
something happened. I don't know. I didn't get to watch that game.
I was doing yard work. I was listening to that game, and just like you said, it was tied up, and then all of a sudden, Buffalo just fucking turned it on, man. I think they had like 2 possessions or 3 possessions in a row, and then it was just after that, the game was over. You know?
Yeah. It got out of hand quick.
And Miami, I mean, same thing. Like Mostert, he didn't really show
Yeah, they
up. He
didn't-
didn't really do much.
They didn't do what they've been doing all along.
Nope.
But the new kid,
A-Chain.
he was number
A-Chain,
5 on the
A-Chan,
fantasy points this
Jack
week.
Achan.
Jackie A-Chan. Devon, get the tables.
Then Cincinnati got
A-Chan.
smoked by Tennessee.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
3-27.
You know,
An ass whipping.
and I picked Tennessee to win that division, but I picked Cincinnati to win this game. Tennessee didn't look that
which
good
is
the week
100%
before.
reasonable.
Yeah, and
Like,
I mean, but
nobody's
you know,
questioning that choice.
posing an interesting question coming into this next week, Arizona, Cincinnati, right? That's going to be an interesting game, just the way things have panned out. So, okay.
Yeah, given that Arizona's playing everybody as tough as they have been, this might be win number 2 for the
Right.
Cardinals.
Baltimore, Cleveland.
Yeah, I was the odd man out on that one. I thought Cleveland could step back up to the plate.
So I looked this up. Watson wasn't playing. He had a shoulder injury.
It was too busy getting massaged.
Yeah.
So they had the backup quarterback
Okay.
in.
See, and I missed the game, so
And he's a hyphenate. I don't know, some Dash Robinson kid.
okay. Denver goes out and beats Chicago. I will not say beat the shit out of or dismantled, but just
That was an overtime
No,
game, wasn't it?
yeah, just like everybody else,
Chicago gave it up.
they managed.
They
to
were
beat
up
Chicago.
21-7 at the half.
They let him off the hook.
They are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought.
Crown
So-
their asses.
So on Chicago's last 2 possessions, they had a turnover on downs, and then they had an interception. And then I think that would have been – they were tied at that point. And then Denver kicked a field goal to win.
Denver's won a couple really close games
Oh.
like that this year. They've
They've only won
One.
one game.
Oh, I thought they. Oh,
Nope,
they,
that
you're
was-
right.
that
they
was it.
lost
That was
to
a battle of the
Raiders.
Ophers.
They lost to the Raiders on that. On
Yeah,
that.
they had a tough. They had
Yeah.
a tough.
I was
game with
thinking
the
that was
Raiders.
week 1 with the Raiders. Yeah, I thought. Yeah. All right, so then you've got
The
the
Raiders.
Chargers and the Raiders. Yeah,
Not a surprise to me at all on that one.
not especially without Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody knew that was going to be a struggle, an uphill battle for Vegas without Jimmy G.
Yeah, the backup quarterback, his name's Aiden O'Connell for Las Vegas.
Here we go. Irish guy.
And the Chargers had a 24-7 lead at the half, so they were
They were playing footsies at the end.
yep.
All right, and then we've got Dallas, New England. Dallas,
The biggest loss of
Dallas was mad,
Belichick's career.
and that's a mad Dallas team.
Dallas had 35 unanswered points.
Mm-hmm.
They were tied at 3, and then Dallas took over.
Man, that defense
They were playing
just
angry.
went off again, man.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
playing angry. And then we've got unfortunately our Cardinals and the Niners.
Then we talked about that. They didn't play bad. I mean, how do you win a game when you give McCaffrey 4 touchdowns?
Four touchdowns.
Yeah.
You can't.
Did he have 2 or 3 in the first half alone?
3.
I think it was 3, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he got a garbage time one late third quarter
Yeah, something
I
like
shouldn't
that.
even call
But
it
you know that wasn't
'cause that's
garbage
not
time then
garbage
because the
but-
game was still like relatively,
eight points or something
8
at that
points
time.
at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah, there
so
was
it
that.
was still a close
Yeah,
game.
there was the point where it was 16-21, and that touchdown is what made it 28 to 16. I want
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, not garbage time, but missing those 2-point conversions again. We talked about this before.
Take the points sometimes. man.
Yeah, but again, I get what they're doing when it's when you're 16-21, you're going for that because you want to make it a field goal game. And honestly, if you get that 2-point conversion, the tide of the game could turn.
Yep.
When they know they only have a field goal lead, maybe they're a little more defensive on their play call.
I just still think it's time dependent on some of those decisions. When there's like, depending on how much time's left in a game, I get what you're saying on the points, but if you're looking at like a quarter and a half left of football, so much can happen. Hell, so much can happen in a 2-minute warning game.
and I totally
You know
agree
what I mean?
with that.
So much can happen in a 5-minute fourth quarter game. Like,
Totally agree.
I would take those points
The point
to that point
to be down by 4.
to a certain point of time. That's the decision I'm going to make until I absolutely have to make the other decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but I get where it's coming from. I do. I
Yeah.
genuinely do. And like I said,
From his
I think-
balls.
I think
It's
that's
coming from the balls.
I think I understand the thought process that, hey, if we make this a 3-point game, it might change how they call their offensive plays on this next drive because they know that they only have a 3-point lead to play with, and
Mind if I interrupt you guys for a second?
by all means, if you only have a 3-point lead to play with, a field goal can tie you. You're going to call that drive differently than knowing you have a 4 or 5-point lead when they don't get the 2-point conversion.
Still, though, time dependent.
I get
know?
that. I get it. But I'm just saying, I understand why you go for it. You're trying to turn the
Yeah, I
tide
get
of
it.
the game.
I get it.
I do get it. But it didn't work, and it hasn't worked, 3-4 times now?
They're playing that bullshit football.
Yeah, let's like you said last week, John Madden always said take the points.
And and to be clear, like, I don't look at football in those senses of like that old school way of play it, right? Like, I get it. I get the progressive, more aggressive style nowadays, but still, again, time dependent. To me, I think some of those decisions are still made too early in a game. You know what I mean? That's it.
Sure.
I mean, after the third quarter, it was 21-16.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're in that game.
and that was
Well,
with a missed 2-point conversion.
Yeah. But
You're
even
still,
then,
you're
if
still a 1-possession game.
and if you have that extra point, if you get a touchdown to go ahead, you put yourself up 3 as opposed to 2 trying to make it 3. You know what
And
I
I
mean?
get that too. But it's all about turning the tide.
Exactly, yeah.
And I
There's
see
so
both
many
sides
things.
of
You
it.
don't give
Yeah.
up the touchdowns to McCaffrey.
Right,
Different
right,
story.
right.
Like
that next one was the dagger.
the fucking
because they marched right down the field. and
alopecia
got that.
antelope gets one more chance out there. You never fucking know, man.
Hey,
You never
hey.
fucking know.
Lay off my guy. He doesn't.
I'm
He didn't
not-
throw an interception.
No, he
All
did
right.
good. I'm
He's the ball.
saying.
All right, we're
I'm saying
moving
he's
on.
doing
We're
good
moving
this
on.
year.
Kansas City and the Jets.
Is that a bad call at the end of the game?
Well,
That fucking holding.
I sent you the meme earlier showing the ref wearing a Kansas City referee jersey. So that I sent that with the intention of sparking a conversation.
But they are in New York.
and
Well,
you never responded.
No, I
it's
did.
not a-
I did see it. I saw another one that was funny. It was the same thing, and it showed Pat Mahomes with the referee, and it was after the game, and they
Trading the
were,
referee jersey.
traded jerseys.
Yeah,
Mahomes was holding up the ref jersey, and
Yeah.
the ref had the Mahomes
They're signing
jersey.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Honestly, I mean,
They didn't want the Jets to win.
I've seen worse holding calls that haven't been called. Even on that same play, I saw a video.
I'll agree.
If you saw the lineman, there was a on that same play, or maybe it wasn't the exact same play, but they were showing some of the holding like the offensive lineman is doing, where nothing gets called, and then he's still able to have the time to scramble or get downfield or make the throw, whatever. Man, that's tough, man.
I'll agree. I mean, there's definitely more egregious things than that, but Anyway,
Hey,
it happened. Kansas City won. Taylor Swift has...
Taylor was there.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going.
And so here's the thing. I heard this joke earlier about and it was from another podcast I listened to, and I don't know, like, if you're listening to another podcast and talk about what they're talking about, do you credit them for
yeah,
what?
why not? Fuck it.
Nah,
right.
nobody's listening. Just
All
do
right,
it.
so I love Door Bumper Clear. It's a podcast, a NASCAR podcast. They were talking about a guy that is one of their friends, I believe, and his wife is a massive Taylor Swift fan, and he's like just fucking with her, trying to play dumb and be like, she sees Taylor Swift on the TV at a Chiefs game, and she's talking about how massively superstar Taylor Swift, and he's like, you don't understand. This is the best tight end in the league. She is riding his coattails to fame. And then she would say something else, and he'd be like, no, you don't understand. I'm telling you, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. And then she's riding his coattails to fame. And
she's riding his dick somewhere.
but his wife kept getting more and more and more mad because she's like a super Swiftie, that he didn't understand that Taylor Swift was more famous than Travis Kelce. But he knew Taylor Swift was, but he was just playing dumb just to piss her off.
Right.
And it eventually worked, and she unloaded on him.
That whole thing with them only works as long as the Chiefs are winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As soon as the Chiefs start losing, the magnifying glass, all of a sudden, that microscope gets real fucking hot, or that magnifying glass gets real fucking hot, because people will start saying, ooh, Taylor, maybe she's a distraction, as opposed to like this
Right.
happy, fun,
The whole Kardashian, what do they call it? The
curse.
curse.
Yeah, whatever.
Tony
However you
Romo
know.
yeah.
However you want to look at it, you know.
All right, so real quick, the last game.
But right now it's seemingly okay.
The last
that's a little
game,
Taylor
which we already have talked about, we're not going to dive deep into it, but the Giants getting spanked by the Seahawks, and
Fucking
Pretty
motherfucker.
unmemorable.
and that's that.
Cock, balls, goddamn,
So-
fuck that shit.
So Kelly,
Just to recap here,
yeah,
biggest upsets. There's only 3 based on the point spread. There's only 3 dogs that actually won last week.
that handled it.
Tampa was plus 4.5. Houston was plus 3, and Tennessee was plus 2.5.
I gotta tell you, Kelly, I like that you put the fucking biggest upsets and biggest blowouts. I like these shits.
Right?
The effort that goes into this, like I like it.
So biggest blowouts, Dallas over New England. We already talked about that. 35 points difference.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, Miami, 28 points. Baltimore, Cleveland, 25. Houston, Pittsburgh, 24. Tennessee and Cincy, 24.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to the closest games. The
Yeah.
closest games, there was only... The closest was 3 points. You got 1, 2, 3... 3.
Two of those overtimes, right?
And
2 overtimes.
2 overtimes. The Indy won. They won by 6. Okay, that's a close game. It could have been 3, right? And then the Chargers, the number 5, a 7-point difference. So now you're starting to see the team split apart.
Yeah, the parity is setting in.
Yeah, like there's not like, oh, this is a close game, and now you're starting to see some blowouts,
Separations.
some
between these.
separation.
And we're a quarter of the season in, so
Yep.
now things start really
I
turning.
hate that we've gone to this 17-game thing because it's hard to say quarter of a season.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
but I
when
mean,
it was
it's all the
16, it
same.
was easy.
Yeah, we round down. You
I
what
know,
I mean?
I
We
know,
round
I
down.
know.
We'll do
I
a
just
half
hate it.
Until it's a
recap
whole
after
number,
week
it's always
9.
And then
number
next week
lower,
it'll
you
be
know?
a quarter and a quarter.
Yeah, we are one.
A quarter and a third.
Yeah, we are 0.31% of the way through the season.
So some notables here: Josh Allen, number 1 in fantasy points. Again, Richardson.
Who the fuck is that guy?
He was
man?
on
He's
like
putting
week
numbers up.
1. Yeah, week 1. I think he was. So welcome back to the top 5. Lamar Jackson. Here's one that
I don't
surprised me.
understand how this one happened.
I
I
just
don't-
circled this number 4. I circled.
I don't
because
Yeah,
understand
Justin
how it even
Fields.
happened. With the score of the game,
The
Well, I mean,
kid,
it was
the kid
31-28.
can score some points.
Yeah.
I don't get
Right?
it, but he scores
yeah,
points.
that's fair.
And then running backs, McCaffrey. Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Montgomery coming out of Chicago. signs with the Lions. That was a good pickup.
Replacing what Swift usually does, you
Right.
know. Swift didn't have as good of a game this week for
And
Philly.
welcome back to the league, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
He's been non-existent.
I like
Yeah,
how you
he
put Jash
has
on here.
not-
Jash
Jash.
Jacobs.
I type it fast.
I know. I like it.
I've
though.
got to
I like
be
it.
honest. There's something he did last week that I didn't bring up that I want to do right now because I'm staring right at it again this week.
What?
Do Canadians spell defense with a C?
Defense.
C-E.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Maybe.
I thought you took your citizenship test. Like we use an S.
I don't know.
That's
it makes
a Canadian
sense to me.
call out. This Canadian call out is presented by Coors Light.
Yeah.
Speaking of
I
which,
had to.
when the mountains are blue.
I had to throw it out there. I did. I'm sorry. My apologies. All right,
And
go
welcome
on.
back, number 4, Kyron Williams.
Williams.
He was on week 2.
And then here's Chris's boy.
Jackie Etienne,
Jack A. Chan.
He's so mad.
Oh my
Miami.
God, dude. I'm
back-to-back weeks in the top 5.
every time I see that name, all I can think about is how fucking retarded I am. Can we say retarded?
All right. Let's
we're
talk
saying
about
retarded.
Let's talk about wide receivers.
What about
AJ
tight
Brown
ends?
having a
Oh, wait.
solid
Yeah, that's
game.
next.
Stephon Diggs, haven't really seen much of him this year, so it was good to see
As
him
his
there.
breakout this week, right? I mean, he can put those numbers up. This was
Yeah.
a surprise to me, though, number 3.
Nico Collins.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
surprise to
Well,
me.
he was number 5 in week
He was.
2.
Yeah,
So-
we've called his name a couple times.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
feel like.
So, I mean, maybe
Again, though-
Houston is doing something good.
And then Puka.
That Stroud-Collins connection, who would have known?
Right.
But Puka, how many times have we called
Dude.
his name?
That
This
kid.
is his second
Surprisingly.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then DJ Moore with Chicago.
All
Look at
right,
that.
now
Justin Fields and DJ Moore both cracked the top 10 in fantasy points this week
As Chicago
for
players.
Chicago.
Hey,
And
hang
tight
on,
ends.
hang on.
And tight ends.
number one
hang
tight
on,
end.
hang on. We're gonna get into Barbara's favorite fucking position players
Right.
here. Tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
There's.
Oh, she heard. Okay, we were watching football the other day, and she heard double ball handling. She's like, "What?"
I'm kind of going what?
It was one of the announcers who's like, "Look at that double ball handling."
Was they like bobble it or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Or like a blocked pass that ended up back in the quarterback's
I
hands.
don't remember.
Yeah, like
I was just
a la Steve
laughing,
Young
so-
back
Hey,
in the
quick
day.
question. If that happens, like a batted pass comes backwards towards you as a quarterback, can you throw it again?
No,
No,
Okay.
because you have already thrown the lateral once and it came back.
But
At
on
that
a
point, you
fumble,
can run
you
it.
can pick it up and
Yeah,
throw
you
it
can pick it up
still.
and throw it. Yeah,
you can catch it and run it.
yeah. You
Yeah,
just
but
can't,
you can't
throw
catch
it again.
and throw it again.
No, you just
No.
can't throw it again.
At that point, if
As-
it's batted back and the pockets collapse, you
Right.
should just
So
bat
as-
it right to the ground.
As long as the ball has ever gone forward, period,
you can't
cannot
make it.
throw it
No.
again.
Somebody did that one time.
I thought I
somebody
remember
did
them
that, but
getting away with
and that's
that.
what established it, though. No, I don't think they got away with it.
No.
I've always
Nope. Somebody, I don't remember who it was, but I mean,
Billy Bob.
yep.
All right.
French fried.
Rest of the tight ends.
Well, Cole Kmet, Chicago.
Yeah.
Fucking look, 3 guys on that offense were in the top 5 in fantasy points. You had the number 4 quarterback, the number 3 wide receiver, and the number 1 tight end, and you're 0-4. That hurts.
Number 5 receiver.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
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 All right.
And then Seattle, 30 fantasy points. Dallas, 27.
Yeah.
It was an interesting week.
Yeah, it was.
All right, so now what I printed up here is a first quarter, the leaders after 4 games in fantasy points. Anything jump out there that you guys want to talk about?
Herbert's number 1 in quarterbacks.
First quarter of the season is what you mean.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
out after the first 4 weeks of the season, I think you see Jordan Love up there in the top 5.
That's a bit surprising.
That's a big surprise
Yeah.
to me.
Jalen Hurts is not.
No, I don't think Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he's putting the numbers up. Like, I mean, that's what he does. Josh
Yeah.
Allen, the same. Herbert. I'm actually kind of surprised Herbert's number 1. If I'm going to be honest, I would think Josh Allen. If just off the top of my head, I would think he would be number 1. You know what I mean? But Hey, I'll take it because I got him as my quarterback for my fantasy.
Well, Jalen Hurts is the only 4-0 quarterback on there.
Yep.
So where's Brock Purdy?
Nowhere to be found.
No.
He's got a pretty mouth.
On running backs, I'm going to say all of the last 3 kind of surprised me.
Well, here's the biggest.
But the biggest being Miami.
I was gonna say the biggest being they got 2 of the top 5 running backs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Mostert and
Mostert we've known
Jack H.
is
Ham.
good. Yeah,
Right.
Mostert we've known is good, so I'm not overly shocked by him being number 2. But Kyron Williams for the Rams, and then
A rookie.
Yeah.
and then Devon Acme or whatever we're calling him,
Jack H. Han.
Jackie Chan, and then Ken Walker. Honestly, for
And-
Seattle,
And to me, the reason that one of the reasons I took Seattle as a division winner is because of Walker, because that kid's a good running back. He had a good year last year until he got hurt.
but
just see if he can build off of it.
Christian McCaffrey and Raheem Mostert do not surprise me. That
Well, look at
Mostert surprises me.
120
It
fantasy
really
points.
doesn't.
It surprises
He's
me.
averaging 30 fantasy points a game as a running back. And now this is a points per reception league. So, you know, all these wide receivers should have way more fantasy points than this guy. But he's also a part-time receiver too.
Yeah,
out
he
of the
does
backfield.
catch a lot.
So
he does it a lot.
So he's, running the ball. He's getting touchdowns. He's receiving. He's the total package.
I'd say on the receiver list, Puka's the one that stands out to me. Everybody else makes sense. Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs being in the top 5 makes perfect sense. Puka,
Yep, Puka is the
stands
one that
out.
stands out.
He's a rookie.
and then tight ends.
Tight ends to me,
Hawkinson makes sense.
no,
He looked great last year.
honestly, to me, the fact that you got Hawkinson, Laporta, Kmet, and Ingram over Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce,
Yeah.
George Kittle.
George Kittle,
Yeah.
that is a big surprise to me, honestly.
Well, I was going to say Hawkinson doesn't surprise me at number 1. Everyone else on the list does.
Again, though, for me, like you look at Minnesota, the amount that they've struggled, Hawkinson's put up a good year, but they just can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Kmet, a fucking winless team, but they've got the number 3 tight end overall.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram putting up numbers for Jacksonville that he couldn't do when he was at the fucking Giants. Go fucking figure. God damn it. Fuck you, Evan Ingram. 48.2 points. Yeah,
Hey, they just need somebody to throw him the ball.
Yeah, just give me the damn ball, like Keyshawn said. Just get a quarterback that can throw the ball.
All right,
Get a
kickers.
quarterback.
Kickers,
period.
let's not spend a whole lot of time on.
Nah, kickers. No surprises there because really, honestly, they're fucking kickers.
But
Tyler Bass, you know who is not on this that I'm surprised is not on this list is Tucker.
Yeah, but he's actually missed a few this
He
year
has.
that you would not expect Justin Tucker to miss.
Oh, well, he's on my fantasy team. I expect it.
From a defense.
Now this is a big one.
Defense on defense.
Dallas was 78 points.
Yeah,
It's more than kickers,
tight ends,
tight ends,
and that's it.
and it would be number 5 on the running back list.
Yeah,
So
that's
not,
crazy.
It is, but it's not. Like I said
And
early on.
it'd be close to cracking the top 5 in quarterbacks.
I mean, yeah, it's only 3 points behind being on the fucking top 5 for a quarterback, which means it's better than literally what 26 or 27 fucking quarterbacks in this league.
yeah.
I mean, you look at it like defenses get on a good year 160 points,
Yeah,
and they're already halfway
they're
there.
halfway there, and they're 4 games through the season.
But
Yeah.
like I said, early on this season, I did say Dallas's defense on paper tells you to look the fuck out, and they're proving it. They're doing it. So I'm not overly shocked by them, I am shocked by the number. The number is high.
Well,
But by them being the team up there, I'm not shocked
And
by
so, yeah, I'm not surprised. I thought their defense would be good this year. I mean, Micah Parsons, he's the spearhead of that thing. And that defense has looked phenomenal. But to think that their overall points when the number two team is 22 points behind and top 5 you're separated by 38 points from number 5 to number 1. And again, we just went over the list. When they're beating out, they're beating out running backs on the top 5 list. They're right there with quarterbacks on the top 5 list, and they've bypassed tight ends and kickers for sure. You know, that's some
impressive.
points. That's some points for sure. So I think that's definitely something we'll have to watch for the rest of the year just to see, because historic when it comes to fantasy points wise, historic. I don't know what the best defense has been points wise.
Yeah, I have no clue.
But their defense, when it comes down to like paper, they're putting historic numbers up that you're looking at better than the best defense we've ever seen.
Well, we talked about it. 0 points against the Giants. 3 points for this past week against New England. 10. They gave up 10 to the Jets. They're only
Benny and the Jets.
yeah. Mahomie and the Jets.
Benny and the Jets.
Mahomie and Miles.
Their only bad game was against the Cardinals.
Rodgers and the Jets.
So
Aaron and the Jets. All right.
I think that pretty much wraps up our NFL, huh?
pretty much. But
we got some interesting games this week.
yeah, I was gonna say there's a few we should touch on, right?
Yeah, we start off Thursday night game.
Chicago, Washington.
Well, I'll take Washington.
Yeah, I think that would be.
But I don't know though.
Nah, nah. Remember
Chris
when
is
said,
starting to
"Look
he's
out for
starting
the
to
Bears"?
influence me over here.
No, no.
Telling you, man.
No.
Justin
out.
Fields is number
Look out.
4.
They're
Cole
putting
Kmet?
up. They're putting up some fantasy numbers.
DJ
which
Moore?
is insane. It's insane.
Hey, fantasy is not the same as scoreboard.
Yeah, I know.
Now,
Just for what it's worth.
Fantasy's not the
Washington
same as
only got
reality.
3
That's why they
points
call
this
it
week,
fantasy. All right. What other games are we looking at?
Jacksonville, Buffalo. That's
That's
another
gonna be a good
London
game.
game. So that'll be an early morning
Oh,
game.
it's another London game.
Oops. Tennessee Indy's interesting this week, I think too. That's going to be an interesting game. I'm gonna
Yep.
ride
game.
Tennessee again, but that's a toss up in my opinion.
Or,
Yeah, Houston, Atlanta. I really think Houston can win that game. So that's where I'm going to go over Atlanta.
yeah, I made my picks. I'm gonna have to revisit these later.
I tell you, I
Look
think
at the injury report. Really scour
Yeah.
the.
just from looking at this too, I think New England's going to beat New Orleans this week.
Yeah, man,
And that's a tough one.
What's your
I mean,
Giants?
it's
who
a
your Giants play?
1.5.
Oh, they don't. They're playing Miami this week. We're in trouble.
Yeah, they're fucked.
Fucking Jack A. Chain's gonna be up on that top 5 list again. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Some division games: Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
San Francisco, Dallas. I think that's gonna be the
That's
game
gonna
of the
be the
week.
game of the
That's
week.
game of the week for sure. And that's a tough pick, man.
Philly and LA though. The Rams.
Yeah, Philly's playing good. The Rams, again, for being 2-2, they've looked good. They've got an offense again this year.
Yeah, but I still think I go Philly on this.
You know what? I would agree with that. I think it's going to be Philly. However, I also start thinking it's inevitable at some point they're going to lose a game, right?
Oh, yeah, they're going to.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
did, this week would not. It wouldn't be a
surprise
surprise.
me. No.
Exactly, wouldn't be a surprise.
Well, it's only a 4.5 point spread.
Yeah,
so.
it's going to be close.
Same thing with Kansas City. They're playing Minnesota. Minnesota's got to turn it around at some point in time.
And this
Minnesota,
league,
same
this
thing,
league
man.
Has that as
They
a
got
5.
Hawkinson. They've got
Jefferson.
They got Jefferson. They got Kirk Cousins, who can put points up, but this year he's not doing it.
And this league has that as a 5 point spread. So it's a little higher, but
Oh man, it fucking pains me to say it, but when we go down to that next one, I think I might take Dallas in that game.
yeah. So San Francisco. only,
No, I'm taking San Francisco.
I'm going to stick with San Francisco.
That's gonna be the game that gets me back into the race.
Could be.
I know they're only 3. Dude, you're farther out of the race than that.
Nah, but it's gonna get me back in the race.
One game back.
Hey, one game at a time, motherfuckers.
Yeah, San Francisco's only a 3.5 point favorite, but
It is in San Francisco too.
Yeah, yeah. But I as well as Dallas's defense is, San
How do
Francisco's
you stop McCaffrey?
McCaffrey and
You got to
and-
break his knee.
and Brandon Ayuk and they're
Debo.
They're using everybody. I mean, they are throwing the kitchen sink at it. So
Point differential, man.
So the
Dallas's
teams on the
defense.
bye, the Browns, the Chargers, the Shithawks.
it's that time of the year. Buys
Yeah,
are
we
in the
started
box.
hitting it. Early season buys.
I know I had to drop a kicker here or there because I got kickers on my fantasy teams. I'm
I
like,
tried to trade
"Shit."
away Daniel Jones this last week. Nobody would take him. Son of a bitch. He's not my starter, by the way. I'm just looking for my next player that I'm going to need for my
Right.
bye week when Herbert goes on bye.
All right. Well, are we ready to move on to our next subject then?
I think so. Time for a break for a second.
The Dick Show.